Today's guest conversation is with the head baseball coach at Sacramento City College in Sacramento, California, Mr. Derek Sullivan. Here's episode 69 of the Baseball Forward podcast. Coach Sullivan, welcome to the Baseball Forward podcast, my friend. How are you today?
Good, man. Just enjoying the beautiful California, Sacramento specific, hot summer weather.
Are you guys, it's a dry heat, right?
Oh, it is, but at 95 to 105, depending on the day, it's hot. I mean, we actually have a couple kids coming in from Georgia this year, which is not common, but kid came in, moved into his apartment, met with me just to say hi again, and he's like, "I love this. I hate South Georgia heat because of the wall of humidity you walk into."
I'll tell you what, I went on a vacation with my family about 2 weeks ago to Port Aransas, South Texas. Okay. I'm in DFW, so it's hot, but holy cow, that's a new level of humidity. And I'm like, it doesn't even feel humid in DFW. So it's that I love Northern California, how hot the summers get. Hey man, I'm excited to chat with you. I'll start off with this. I've always been kind of an admirer of Sac City baseball. Like, what a tradition this program has with baseball. Just the former big leaguers, the pedigree. Just as a former baseball guy and being around guys that I played with in Northern California, Southern California, whenever I heard about Sac City, it was always, ooh boy, you know what you're getting. So I'm excited to kind of learn more about Sac City and what you guys are all about. So when I say tradition and what Sac City's all about, I mean, you've been there, I want to say like 21 years, 18 years, like total or something like that.
So I usually it's my kids will ask me, "Dad, how long have you been at Sac City?" And each year, it grows a year, but out of the last 20, I was here for 3 as a player because I was a redshirt guy. Okay. And then I was an assistant for 8, and this will be my 14th year as the head coach. So I've been here 25 out of the last 27 years as a player and assistant or the head guy. So yeah, our place is unique. And this isn't like about me getting the job, but like our program is unique because of that tradition. Mm-hmm. And it could be a heck of a weight. We lean into it. I mean, obviously I think I'd always would rather have the tradition to live up to and, have some guidelines and, the challenge of reinventing yourself and staying current. I think that we're constantly striving for that, not just to do the new thing because it's the new thing, but if it's better, it's okay to change what you've done, but then maybe start something brand new, which is its own unique challenge. I love being a part of Sac City. The amount of places that I go, and again, it's the grocery store, it's the convention, it's anywhere and everywhere. Anywhere around baseball, it's like I've been, because I played at St. John's, so in New York, I've spent time in Florida and all the corners of the country, really in the Northwest as well. And if I say Sac City, somebody always knows what it is. Yep. And that's pretty cool and very cool. And I'm very proud of that. And certainly to carry it on and push it forward, the new group and, what have you. This is a special place. And obviously I'm biased and whatnot, but it's awesome. And, we've got our own challenges, but, the amount of big leaguers, the state championships, playing for state championships, the playoff appearances, winning percent, all the metrics, where our guys go as a JC, that's the whole show. Winning's cool. And it's not easy, but we're set up for success at this particular college. Like we get a lot of support for a lot of good reasons, but we're supposed to win and we generally do, but where our guys end up and kind of the access to the different levels of the game that we've been fortunate enough to be in, my former boss who I took over for, he's an assistant GM for a big league club, Andy McKay with the Mariners. Yeah. And then Jerry Weinstein, I've said this before, but he's one of the greatest living baseball men because of the amount of things that he's done. And, I still have access to him. I didn't play for him. I just missed him. But like, obviously we have a relationship and the ability to really call and ask him questions like, "Hey, Jerry, we're doing this particular," it can go into bunt defenses or some sort of secondary pick play. And he's like, well, this is what we did then, but here's what I've learned now after, it's been 40 years since I've been there, and we laugh, and it's just the access to people like that. And he really cares about Sac City. He's not just some guy that I can call, but I tell all our recruits, this is a place where whether the coach knows me from nothing, I can pick up a phone and go, I met Tim Corbin when I was younger, but I could call it Tim Corbin. I know Jay Johnson, but anybody in this country, I'm fortunate enough to be able to call because of the reputation. And if I think we have a player that can play at a very high level, that phone call gets picked up. And I hope that's not like a flex, but it's true. I've enjoyed being able to do that, and this is a special place, and I love it. And we're constantly trying to make it better, and that's its own challenge.
Yeah, no, and I love hearing all that. Derek Sullivan of Sac City on episode 69 of the Baseball Forward podcast today. What I find, because baseball, golly, it's such a roller coaster, and that. And I always find that when loyalty of numerous years are involved in a coaching staff, to me, that's next level elite. Like, that perks me up. It's something that I noticed very early on when you and I originally connected. I'm like, dang, this dude, he has been there a while. There's something right about that. So it's got to be more than baseball. Like, because I imagine when I think of the hotbeds in this country, California, Texas, Florida, Georgia, right for baseball. Right. So I got to think that everybody probably wants to go there ish in that part of the area, but like it's got to be about more than baseball. Like, is it like your family? Is it's home? It's Sacramento's a special place to you. Like, elaborate on that for me.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely starts there with there's a comfort level here. I mean, again, if you're just like me personally, this is a wonderful job, I think. And this has been passed down from head coach to head coach, other than, aspirations to get to the big leagues, to be a Division I head coach. This is the best job.
Wow.
The security, the level of pay is good. It's really good, but it's nothing elite, but it's the security of the California full-time faculty, head community college coach. And so you can insert other sports. I have tenure. It's a really strong position to operate from. And I always joke around about it, but like we could go on a stretch of awful, and just in the sense of what my job is, I'm still going to be employed. And so not that that's going to happen, but the security that exists here, and California is not the Bay Area, right? It's not, or excuse me, California, Sacramento is not the Bay Area. It's not that expensive to live here, or at least relatively speaking.
Sure.
And then the access, like the level of the game that we're at, we do get some elite players. But and it's probably going to change, shift back towards there's going to be some better players arriving because of the state of college baseball, which I'm sure we'll get more into. But so the access to the level, like, it's a good level. It's not a low level of baseball. And within community colleges, there's certainly, lower tier, upper tier. We're fortunate enough to be absolutely in the upper tier. Our conference is incredibly competitive. In reality, as much as we don't have athletic scholarships in California for community colleges, not one, not iota, everybody that's a resident of the state gets 2 years for free. So it's, what I mean? If they live at home, it's less than $1,000 for the first 2 years.
That is like amazing.
To get to, so, and then we're getting into that whole, California's got some, it's different for many people, but that piece, they got community college nailed, because it's back to free for the first 2 years, and then it's really cheap. But so, like, our situation, going back to, hey, why have you been there for so long? Why have guys stayed there before me? I think it's like the last 50 years or so, we've had 4 head coaches, and one of them was like a longtime assistant, and he was just the interim while Jerry Weinstein left and came back.
Wow.
And he went to coach at Miami for a year, but like, the stability is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And again, our location, our facility, like, we have a 1,500 seat lit, raised stadium. Our playing surface is immaculate. We got the scoreboard. We've got the clubhouse built into the stadium. My office is arguably as big as our school president's. I didn't have that built. Jerry Weinstein and Paul Carmazzi got that going.
Let's
I
go.
mean, it's Union Stadium because the volunteer effort of all the trade unions in this city in 1987, 88. Like, but again, you go to the traditions. Like, it's deeper than just the baseball stuff. Like, they got into the city. Like, the labor unions in the city were like, absolutely, we'll get on board with that project. And
Love that.
we're gonna volunteer, our apprenticeship program. We'll have guys come over there and build the stadium. And there's some apprentice work that was done, but like, it's beautiful, man. And so you start to layer in. It's a great place to coach. The support of the school is really good, even within our district. Our school is, because we have a level of equality for sure with the 4 schools, but this is an athletic school. The way it's structured and how we support athletics and baseball specific is, we work our butts off to be good. It's a great place to work, man. And I like Sacramento, right? It's it's not out in the cuts. It's also not LA.
Yeah.
And so there's so many good things about it. And to be perfectly honest, I just love it here. My family's here, and there's, a growing family, and, they're getting older, they're growing up, but it's a good gig, man. You got the teacher schedule again as the faculty.
Yep.
So it's not the cutthroat recruiting. I mean, recruiting is recruiting, but it's good. It's easier to be stable, to be able to have work-life balance. And again, it's a great job. Man, and I think a lot of guys in this industry, they understand that, and it's unique, and there's only so many positions, but I think we have 86 baseball playing schools in California. Not every one of them's full-time, like my position, but a lot of them are. But guys don't leave that job very often,
Yeah, that's special.
I don't plan on leaving it, and I think that benefits our players. So like getting to that whole piece of it is it allows you to really dig in, understand, using cliches, but you understand your why. It can change, and you can develop as a person, as a coach, and you can go up and down, but still provide an excellent experience for our student athletes or our guys. And that's where I think a lot of that, you said there's more to it. I agree. The magic, the secret sauce is the people that are here and their commitment to it. And we're fortunate to be able to bring back a lot of alumni. I mean, the new guys, I say new guys, the guys that didn't play at Sac City that have coached for us, they're awesome. And they always have brought us something new that we needed. And that's the good part about a place with tradition is you can get stale if you don't change. And so there's an appropriate amount of bring our guys back who know the system, but also let's bring some guys in we need to shake the system up. And, I think that we've done a pretty good job of that.
Man, I remember having a conversation with one of my mentors, actually from the Sacramento area. I played for him in college, and we remained friends after. And I asked him, one time we were just having a conversation. He said, I said, do you have any regrets of your coaching career? Because he went on to coach at the Division II, Division I level and everything. And he said, I wish I wouldn't have left the job that I loved. And I feel like at times this game becomes what's next, instead of just blooming where your feet are planted and really enjoying. Because I get this calm sense energy from you. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, why would you, everything you just described, that's crystal clear to me why you're there for that long and why the program is what it is. Talking with Derek Sullivan on episode 69 of the Baseball Forward podcast. Boy, I want to get more into the California, the CCCAA.
So it's funny. The amount of time I spent tripping on that thing. Well, now we call it, and I've adopted it, but it's the 3C2A is what everybody says now. Way easier to say, 3C2A, okay. And it's actually, I think, in our logo now. It's not just the letters.
I saw that. Yes. So the 3C2A, because California is one of the best places to go. The competition is unbelievable. So I feel like it's a little bit different, and I don't know the rules, and I want you to clarify it for me. I looked through your roster. Many rosters out there in the 3C2A. But a lot of California kids, not a lot per team. Doesn't seem like a lot of out of state kids. So talk me through, because dude, if I was in California and I was living there and my kids were there, we're going to junior college.
That's what my parents did.
Yeah, talk me through that, and talk me through just kind of the governing the stuff that's worthy of talking about 3C2A.
Yeah. No, so the distinction here is at the beginning of, and small history lesson, and I'll hit fast forward, but when the community colleges were started in this state, the idea was access to education. And so the 2-year school, again, if you go to a state school, a CSU, right, Chico, Sac State, Cal State Sacramento, Sac State, there's a bunch of them. I think, the number of campuses I'll probably get wrong, but it's in the teens of the state schools. And then there's I think there's 9 UCs, that's Cal, which is, UC Berkeley, you got UCLA. Yep. Anyways, so there's a bunch of private schools, but the idea was access to education. In the 2-year school, you can get your associate's degree, right? Your general ed for an incredibly cheap amount. And then you directly transfer into it. The system is built to go right into the CSU or a UC. And I would argue the UCs are a little more traditional, the university system, not upper crust, but like higher academic is kind of the selling point. And it's true. But so it's built to go from the community college to the state school. Doesn't mean you can't go the other way, or the further up.
Yep. Point
is, you throw athletics into that, and so we're well supported. And campuses across the state, they value athletics, and I've seen the studies, but bottom line is when you have a group that's wearing the school colors, that their goals are time bound, and they have to achieve a certain goal to continue on and play, be eligible to play sports as they move forward, they're highly successful. And obviously you're dealing with athletes are motivated, they love discipline, all the big time studies. So that's built into this 3C2A, but it's only California, right? Because it's a state supported system, right? By and large, that's where a huge chunk of our taxes will go as residents. And so again, athletically, what that means is it's hard to leave the state, because if you go to, even if you get a scholarship as an out-of-state kid to the NWAC schools up north, or Arizona, or any of the NJCAAs, right?
Yeah.
It's hard for kids to leave the state because you still have to pay something. If you stay at home, it's borderline free to go to your local school for 2 years. Because again, it's all built into, this is the California Promise Grant. And that happened, I guess it's probably been about 10 years, but it was still cheap. When I played at Sac City, it was $11 a unit. So if you take a full load, 18 units, times 11 is what your tuition is. You end up just you just got to pay for books and a parking pass.
Wow.
And so that's really good. I mean, here's a great example. Again, the numbers are not exact. I don't have it on my computer, but approximately half the community college football programs in this country are in California. There's like 60 in our state, and that's only about half of the community colleges support football. But you go the rest of our country, junior college wise, there's about that many in the rest of the country. And so it's awesome. Now, baseball wise, there's plenty of baseball programs, but again, we have like 86 baseball playing schools, approximately half in the north and the south. And again, for an out-of-state kid to come in, I go through this every year. There are some really good players we've had from out of state, but usually there's like a specific reason. So, you get the guys from some of the northern states. Well, they don't have community colleges around them, right? They'll go to Florida, they'll go to Arizona, they go to Texas, but they'll also potentially come to California. It's expensive now, though. So if it's free for a resident, and then after 2 years you do have to pay, it becomes I think it's $46 per unit. At least at our campus. If you're an out-of-state kid or an international kid, it's about $500 a unit. So that's where, and if you factor in kind of the cost of living in Sacramento and the changes in different areas, it's about 25, call it 25 grand. It could be less depending on where you live. It could be more if you live on your own, which is rare.
Sure.
But it's expensive for that first year. And then if you can qualify for in-state, that number drops down significantly. But, it's still in that probably $12,000-$13,000 range when you factor in living, right? That's the piece. That whole number isn't tuition. but it's hard, and you got to have a little bit of money to be able to do that, or you have to have an incredible amount of federal aid because there's no in-state aid for out-of-state students. So once again, going to your comment, it's by and large, it is a community college thing. Like you get kids from community, and
love that.
Again, it's a little different, right? You don't get a ton of kids out on their own. We're fortunate. We do have a broad recruiting base. We'll get kids from all over Northern California, out-of-state guys. Very rarely are we going to get a SoCal guy because there's really good programs down there. And it's, unless there's like his dad went to City, and so, hey, he's going to come in. That's kind of the layout. So the 3C2A is based. There's so many benefits for in-state kids. Why would they go out of state? And then they try to quote unquote cash in on out-of-state students, but basically it's because it's not geared towards, the whole system isn't geared towards out-of-state.
Yeah.
And so those are the barriers. But again, with that, it's hard. There have been overtures with our the 3C2A or our Coaches Association with baseball of trying to be incorporated into the NJCAA, but it just doesn't match up. Like, we don't have money for travel. We have to fundraise. I mean, we do a little bit, but we have to fundraise for that. So if we were to be in an out-of-state situation where we had games or series, postseason took us there, right? If we were going to go to the Junior College World Series, the calendars don't match up. The rules that we use, although we have rules, but like they don't match up. Like, there's no scholarships wouldn't exist in California because they don't need to.
Right.
And so that's where it's really hard to get that to jive. Whereas the rest of the country, minus the NWAC, they all play by the same rules. They model it, based on the NCAA with D1, D2, D3. We're all the same in California. And, again, different tiers as in anything, but I remember looking into it, not that I had any, decision-making power, but there are so many fundamental differences that I don't think that they will ever be able to merge. It will never be a 50-state thing, and never is a strong word, but there's a lot of the community college system in California would have to change drastically to have the athletics merge in any sort of fashion that would make sense.
Thank you for that. Like, that makes me feel better about what the heck I'm thinking about out here in Texas, thinking about California. That makes total sense. I mean, and it actually sounds pretty enticing. Living in state, it's kind of like a no-brainer that they're setting you up to succeed. And I like that. That's what it sounds like to me, talking with Derek Sullivan on the Baseball Forward podcast today. Man, baseball has changed a ton, right? We know that. I said that, right? You smile, right, as I say it. Are you guys affected? Because I guess where I want to go with this is, I know how important, and I know how quality community college, junior college is for development, and really just for, you got to go grow. And you hear so many of these guys these days, they're so worried about, Division I, and it's like, go get where you can go play. I'm curious about how Sac City is affected by the current climate of baseball, the kickbacks, the high school kids. Boy, it seems like high school kids are like, they're the stepchild at this point,
Well, that last year's high school class got, again, I won't go too deep. I won't go too bad a language, but they got screwed.
Yeah.
Absolutely hosed. And, and there's some wiggle room in there with the DSA rule, and, that allows those guys, if those campuses want to bring them on, that they don't count, and it'll flush out over a couple of years. But yeah, it's just kind of like COVID, and I hope it doesn't linger as long as, the rules and, hey, the year didn't count, the thing and the deal, it just gums it up, and like, as a coach, the recruiting calendar backs up because, I do, as like, I had a sidestep as my master's degree. I got it in business. I didn't know I wanted to coach right away, but my MBA is absolutely, served me well in running this program. But I'm also like, the idea of the free market and athletes being able to capture, some dollars for what they do, I'm on board with that. I think that is great. But it's a game changer because it's free agency. and
Yep.
so the portal, that doesn't affect us in the way that, like, I don't lose a guy to a portal. There's always been a free agency aspect to junior college because I don't
Good
have
point.
scholarships, right? It's just
Yeah.
like guy wants to leave, and there's some, there's some transfer deadlines in that, like a guy can't leave in the middle of his sophomore year to transfer to another JC and be eligible. Just it's almost impossible to get that to happen, which protects programs from that. But at the end of the day, if a guy thinks he's got a better place somewhere else, I've always dealt with that. If he wants to go down the road to another JC and ultimately vice versa, it can happen.
Sure.
But I could understand being a Division I coach, and I mean, obviously they have to adapt, but I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
But now again, my version of this, not being in it, being on the outside of it, and talking to buddies and colleagues, your roster management. And I listen. Jay Johnson is something. He's a national champion. Coach, and when he says it, it obviously if they're doing it at LSU, okay.
Yep.
You coach year to year. Your roster is year to year, and that's again professionalism.
Man.
And there's a model out there to learn from, right?
Sure.
I'm glad I don't have to deal with it.
I
But
agree.
what we do is we catch the runoff. We still have always gotten kickbacks. The timing of it's different, and there's more August editions. We start in August, our fall program. So I don't want to say it hasn't changed for us. It does, but we're still operating off of a similar model in that, if a guy doesn't have the right situation at Division I at a 4-year school and they need to come back somewhere, hey, I'm usually raising my hand, and because the bottom line is the bottom line. We need the best players possible, and we're allowed to have a bigger roster. And even in the fall, like the competition that we're able to create and facilitate, specifically at my program, like we have a multi-field model because of a city park that's incredibly close. It's not that we don't use our field, our stadium during the fall. We do, but we get to let that field rest because we go across, to William Land Park, which literally is across Freeport Boulevard from our campus, less than a mile. And I have a poor man's spring training complex. So I get to bring in a bunch of guys, not just use one field. And like our development model isn't possible at most places because nobody else has a multi-field, adjacent park.
Dang, that's cool.
And they're not nice. It's closer to the Dominican style fields than it is, what you would think at a college campus. We have that field. It's beautiful. But again, our model at Sac City, we can accommodate what it is. And then, that the transient nature of JC, right? And that you're getting guys for a year or two. A guy got a scholarship that was a true freshman. I think he was going to be an absolute stud. And, we lost him in July, but okay, that's what we do.
Where'd he go?
He named Drew Brown. He went to Charleston Southern.
Attaboy.
So had a solid freshman year, good stuff. And, it made sense for him. And it was like, that's what we do, man. This is a JC. We're here. And again, that's the unique nature of the JC is that I'm both recruiting guys, madly, but also trying to get them out. And so, the 4-year model, what's changed with the portal is programs are trying to reinvent themselves. And, even 4-year schools at times are like, hey, we'll develop you and move you on to the Power 4. That's unique for a guy to do that. And I'm not saying it can't be done. It's just, it has never been done because it's never been about that. A Division II school to say, recruiting high school kids to say, hey, we're actively trying to develop you and move you on to Division I. I get that concept can happen, but like, that's our bread and butter. And it's hard to imagine if I was in their shoes to go, well, I'm going to do the junior college thing, even though I'm at a 4-year school.
Yeah.
I don't know. The best the best Division II places are getting, the non-Division I JC guys and kickback. They're juniors and seniors, right? At least in my state, right? In California. And so I don't want to say we're unaffected, but it's like, hey, business as usual, man. JC is a little bit of the Wild West across the country. And it's still the Wild West. It's just everybody else is experiencing it a little bit more too.
There you go with your calm nature because you're at Sac City and you guys have an umbrella that shields you out there. I get this feeling, and I love knowing that. I'm curious to know, Coach Sullivan, the composition of your roster. So, like when you recruit, so if in a perfect 2-year cycle, I know nothing's perfect, but we're just brainstorming here. Like how many sophomores, how many freshmen, how many redshirts, like how many guys are you bringing in? What is that like? Is it Is it rare for freshmen to get on the field at your level? Like, talk me through that.
No. So, I mean, granted, all things being equal, if you have a returning freshman that's been in the program, sometimes, for 2 years, he's going to be a third-year guy. Competition, it's tough for a guy that if they're similar, you tend to go with the older guy with experience. We would all do that.
Yep.
But the talent level at our level, the talent, that ability, there are always impact freshmen that come and get on the field, and on the mound and in the field. In a perfect year, about half, 4 or 5 of our starters, and granted, let's call it, 11 or 12 guys in the starting mix of position guys, you'd get about half of them to move on, and you'd have half of them coming back. And then on the mound, same thing. Hopefully you'd have like a freshman or 2 on as a starter, and the bullpen would be a mix, and guys can get back, some version of that, right?
Sure.
But depending on how it works out, and kickbacks, this is a school, we'll take kickbacks. I talk to high school kids. How many kickbacks are you going to take? How many call?
Wow,
how many?
Good point.
I try to be very honest in that, like, we're trying to win a state championship every year, which is as far as we can play in California, and I'm going to take every player that I think can help us get there, and start with honesty. But I can also show a track record of, yes, local high school kids that are good play for us, and they play as freshmen. That's important. But at the same time, if there's a kid from Japan that's going to come in, which a number of years ago, well, we brought a guy in and he got really good. Well, yeah, he's going to play too. And by the way, that adds to the overall, not just diversity, but the experience of what I like to think of Sac City is that's why you can go across the country and in different countries and people recognize it, because, this is a place where some pretty good players are still willing to come, because they're going to get better and tested, and they're going to be prepared for their next step, which, again, that's every JC should be. It's about your next step. And as much as we want to win while we're here, we go back to, you said, why have you been at Sac City for so long? And I am not forced to win to keep my job. What I really need brass tacks to do is to matriculate my guys. And if they're playing what my college wants from me is for my guys to get degrees, to transfer to 4-year schools. And then really, that's kind of as a JC, that's our job, or that's the job of the college, the higher education piece. For us, I want it to be at the highest level possible. And I want those guys to finish while they're there. I want guys to get into professional baseball, because we model so many of our drills and, our progressions on that, all of, bat speed development, arm speed, pitch mix, shaping, all of the stuff that occurs, that always has occurred. We just, have tools to measure and track now. That's what I want. There's a higher level thinking here. Right? And I always tell our guys, this is higher education, and we're going to operate that way as a baseball program. That's why we're different. And I've never been in another program, so I'm not a negative recruiter, and I'm certainly not going to talk down to any program on this, but I know what we're trying to do and what we strive to do, and what we've been successful over time doing, and that's our guys got to get better. It turns out if we get some really good players and they get better, we always have a chance to win a state championship. It's not that simple or easy, but it's pretty straightforward. Get really good players and make them better. It turns out we win a lot of games that way.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
It's not easy, but it is straightforward.
I'm curious to know, talking with Coach Sullivan here from Sac City on the Baseball Forward podcast, your identity as a baseball team. Like when you go out there and you're like, hey, this is Coach Sullivan, Sac City, this is his team. And I know your coach, but you're the CEO of that team. What is your brand of baseball? What do you guys hang your hat on?
I feel like this is a normal recruiting session. We're a best speed program, and we're a no limits program. Best speed, it's not just running a hard 90. I would say, like, if you ask people, like, hey, how do you know if Sac City's playing, or what team's out on the field? Our guys, and most years, and we haven't had perfect years every year, but if you ask our alumni, give me a snapshot of Sac City. You watch us take the field between innings. You watch us get off the field. Our absolute best speed, we're trying to get 9 guys off the field before they get 1 guy on. Man. And we're trying to get all our guys on the field before they get any of their guys off into the dugout. Like that snapshot that's my vision. That's what our alumni come back and say. That's what they see first. Then granted, you look in this, in this box scores, you look in the standings, and they have expectations, but best speed is more than that. It's your best effort, not hardest effort. Best. That's unique, right? That's not the same. Just because you try really hard, I don't really care if you try hard. I care if you ultimately are getting better and doing well. It's about performance, but your best speed is your best effort with every breath you take. It's that idea of it's relentless of, like I said, it's not, you can't just sprint. It's best effort. You have to rest. You have to eat. You have to lift. And we explain that over the course of a year and multiple years in our program. Best speed is our thing. If there's one thing that we're trying to monitor that's really difficult, because I can't tell how hard you're running down to first. It might look good. You're the only one that knows. But isn't that what, like, if you have kids, like, it's not about what someone else thinks. If you know you're doing your absolute best, you should take pride in that. And if we get enough guys to infect them with that type of thinking, we'll be all right. I know we'll be all right. I've seen it. I trust it. And it's been that way for a long time. And then the concept of no limits is, I mean, and this is where I'm going to really be Sac City on you. Like, there's not very many things that a guy that started or spent some time in a Sac City uniform hasn't accomplished in the game of baseball.
Fact.
We're talking like state champions, state players of the year, Division I scholarships. Mike New, current head coach at Cal, he recorded the final out of the College World Series when Miami won it. His senior year. Like, he literally threw the last pitch and got the win, closed it out. We've had guys signed for over $1 million. We've had first round draft picks. Guys have left and, become first round draft picks. We've had 44 major league players. Nick Mears is currently in the bullpen for the Brewers right now. We've had all-stars, gold glovers. Guys have hit 50 home runs. Guys have thrown no hitters. Guys have, again, we've had a unique amount of big league managers. I think we have 5 major league managers that used to be Sac City guys. And so this stretches beyond Jerry Weinstein. Wow. And like way back to, Sac City won a state championship in 51 and 53. And I mean, Sacramento has been baseball, haven for a while. I digress. No limits means you can freaking do anything you want in this game. If you're willing to make the sacrifices, bring in a little Nick Saban, like, it's not just rainbows and unicorns. Like, if you want to do something, you have a lot of decisions that are already made for you. You can't just, be really optimistic and, no, I can do anything, except for you actually can. And we believe that because I've seen it happen. But in practice, it's like, no limits means you do have limits. We all have physical limits, mental limits, financial limits, whatever. But if you're willing to attack those limits every day, you come into our locker room, and we have a sign that, we'll go probably over it at the end, but like above our locker room door that you go in, every day you come in and punch the clock. If you push the limits that you have, right, a little further away, after a year, 2 years, 3 years on our program, you turn around, you go, oh, those aren't limits anymore. And so that's how we literally put that into practice. It's not just some vague, optimistic deal. It's no, you absolutely have limits. You're not good enough at this, that, or the other thing. Well, let's attack them and push them a little further. Let raise that ceiling a little higher. And when you look back after your time at Sac City, I hope you go, that's not a limit anymore. And sometimes it's really special. But even if it's just a little bit, now you're having what I determine as, I define as a Sac City experience. You're growing. And so that's where if a guy goes to an NJCAA school or he decides to just go to school when he's done, as long as they've actually grown, this is me as a coach that's going to continue to do this for a long time. I used to worry about, I got to get the guys to the highest level. They got to get the biggest scholarship. The more guys I get to Division I, that's how I define, if we're successful.
Wow.
That's a measure. That's a good thing. I want good players and I want them to go to the next level, the highest. But in reality, if our culture is about growth, about effort, controllables, well, now I can really take satisfaction in my day-to-day work. And I know I'm talking about, bigger picture things, but I'm telling you, I really believe if we do a good job of those things, we win a lot, and there'll be a state championship ring that gets ordered or more, but you attack the hard controllable stuff. And that's also what if you're passionate about it, which I and my coaches are, and we get our players on board, I don't want to say it does. Winning matters. I'm not ever going to go and tell you that it doesn't, but it is not the most important thing. And it comes with standards. It comes with
yes.
accountability, all the big terms that every, phenomenal coach of a program has ever said on an interview. Like, I believe it. And those are the hard things, right? You can go out and get a few good players in a given year, and that's awesome. I will always try to do that. And you need enough of them. But what you need is the backbone. You need guidance. You need guys to be inspired to play for you, play for the program, play for their teammates. And that's that real success. And that's the stuff that you can get on a heater as a program, and you get one team doing it. The next 2 or 3 teams have a really good chance to do it too, because it'll stay in. You bottle it.
Right.
But again, the secret sauce. Every team's different. Everybody has their way of doing it. Every coach has their. You can be a hard ass. You can be a real nice guy. Somewhere in the middle. All the above. But then again, I have enough job security and enough positives around this. Like, that's what's fun for me.
Yes.
I have the ability to change. And again, if we have a losing record next year, I don't think we will. I think we're going to be pretty good, but I'm not going anywhere. So that allows me to get off of the result and actually coach a process.
Wow.
I'm allowed to coach the process, knowing that if I do a really good job, and again, it's not just me, it's an absolute we, but that's why this is such a great job. That's why Sac City in particular has been good for a long time, is because we're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
There's no outside influence and pressure you have to do this. That's internal. We have to win, but my boss isn't breathing down my neck. We do a great job. We graduate our guys. We're an exemplary program. But doing that is what is going to give us a chance to win it all.
Man, you said something that absolutely fired me up. It gave me goosebumps when you said it, because it matters to me. It matters so much. I love this game. I know that I played it. I played hard. And you said best speed, on and off, how you describe that. I want this to be I'm going to cut it up. I want it to be a viral clip, because I want you to know this, Coach Sullivan, at Sac City. I coached my son's little league team, and the first practice, this was 3 years ago. The first practice, my wife was like, "What are you going to do?" And I said, "We're just going to practice getting on and off the field." And she's like, "What?" And I said, "Getting on and off the field. That's the only thing." And I remember going to the practice, and it was an hour or 15 minutes over at the little local field.
Yeah.
And I just talked to the guys. We go group our hats together, gloves. And I'm going to get into it because I'm asked specific questions. But these kids were gassed at the end of practice, because it was, all right, you got 10 seconds to get off the field. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. I want to know, like, to me, it fires me.
We do 12. We do 12 seconds, by the way.
Ooh, I love that. What I want from, you're at that level, and it matters that much. Number one, I want to know why getting on and off that quick matters to you. And then I want to know, like, how do you, from an application perspective, is it organization of gloves? Is it, we're coordinated, because it's a dance, dude. But yeah. you create that urgency, and I'm so happy to hear you say that. And I want you. Why is it so important to be on and off the field in your program?
I think for me, again, it's an obvious demonstration of best speed. It's a simple one. It's attainable. You can monitor it. It's not, I'm not sure if we did or we didn't. You literally can time it. And it's our brand, to be perfectly honest. We have a lot of nice things here. We have nice uniforms. I want all the nice gear, all the nice things. I want to get our guys, and we work really hard for them, and we fundraise, do the whole thing. But like, that's our brand, man. When I have a recruit, I feel like we're unique in that I have alumni to answer to, that I care about, that have played at a high level, or they're just around and they love what Sac City did for them. We connect our tradition, we bring our guys back, like our alumni, big leaguers or business owners or whatever. We bring them back to talk to our guys. And I think, seriously, why I talk about on and off the field and why we monitor it, it's to be honest, because that's what I freaking decided, and that's what Jerry Weinstein decided. And I'm going to be connected to everyone through that because we're not harming our guys, and it's not something ridiculous. Hey, play hard. Yep. And I think it bleeds into everything else. Like, hey, we're Sac City. It's what we do. And it's an outward expression of us. It is one of our things. It's just like we wear high socks. You cannot wear, you can't, it just, we don't, it doesn't, and it's also, it's arbitrary. You can wear,
it's baseball, baby. I love it.
But you can go old school Clemson and zip your pants into your spikes. If that's your thing, great. But like, we try to choose a couple things that, how we take our lead off of first base. There's a couple different ways to take a lead. Come on, man. You know what? We do it one way. We go back into the base a certain way. And that's part of, because that's what we do. It's good. Yes, there's another way, but there's not really, it's not that much of a better way at all. The point is we have to have some things that our guys can do that are controllable, that when they do them, again, we're Sac City. So on and off the field's one of them. It's like I said, it's a demonstration of best speed. And to be perfectly honest, I just freaking like the way it looks. Here's a good story sidebar on that. We had spent like a little over a decade. We didn't get back to the Final Four, which is for us, that's the last 4 teams in the state, 2 from the north, 2 from the south. Winner on Memorial Day is the state champion. We got back there in 2018, and I didn't realize, because that's just what we always do. When we finally punched our ticket, got back I think it's a 3-day tournament. After we played a second game on the second day, our coaches association president and a couple other coaches who haven't seen us play. We don't play them during the regular season. They're from the South. And I have a couple buddies that I coached in the Cape with it. And they come over and they happen to be there, and, or I get a phone call and they're like, man, I just love how your guys get on and off the field. Because it's rare. But it's our thing. It's always been our thing. But to get that, and it's kind of like some of the old timers, but I love that, because that's part of why we do it, because it looks good. It is good when kids watch it, when my recruits see it. If that turns them off, I don't want them.
Amen.
But most guys love it. But it's our thing. And so I'm not Mr. Godfather, but that's our thing. That is one of the things that I will not sacrifice. We'll not do that. You can leave the program, but it's also, come on, man, you can't run hard on and off the field. As an added note, when we do that well in the fall, we don't condition at the end of practice. If we do a scrimmage and why do we need to run? If we play a 9-inning game and you do 18 sprints, and you can, when we play in the fall, we usually have 2 fields going, so everybody's running. It's literally, hey, we won't condition if we go best speed on off the field well, if we play hard, because we're getting our conditioning in. Now, and I will say this too, we have had plenty of guys go into professional baseball. There's a modification when you play 162 or 140 games a year. I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if that's smart as you age and the physicality, but our 18 to 21-year-old bodies, and we're trying to train our guys, and we only play 40 games plus playoffs, and it's doable.
Yes.
So, but it changes, right? That's our thing. And I think that we can do it for us. I don't know that everybody can do it or should, but we will continue to. Let's put it that way. And best speeds, it's modified sometimes. You get a guy that's got a little twinge in his hammy, but you got to get him in the lineup. Best speed isn't go hurt yourself. And we run into this every year because we got guys that are balls to the wall. I'm in on the program. My hammy's hurting, but I got to run out to my position hard. It's no, man, you got to hit fourth and hit doubles. I don't need you on the bench next to me. We can modify your best speed, not run slow, but give me your best. And again, it's applicable to I don't get to pick and choose oh, you're really good, so you don't have to run hard. That's not it. It's I need you in the lineup, guys. Don't get hurt. Best speed it's relative. The slow guys don't have to run faster than the fast guys. Just get your position, brother, and show me that you're working hard to get there.
I have a vision of baseball in my head, and you so beautifully, that's my vision. My eyes are closed, and I'm hard on the field, socks high, not high top cleats, hat worn right. You beat the other team when you show up like that, and they're crap, these guys know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Is that right?
And that's something that I probably skipped over that I absolutely mean it. The impression that you leave upon the other team.
Yes.
We have a thing. We talk about Panther Magic, and we're Sac City Panthers. And you ask all of our old school alumni and former coaches, like it's the way you play, it's the reputation, it's this and that. When other teams come, through the side gate into our stadium onto our field, the impression I want them to get is that, like, oh my God, we're already down 3 runs because of how we're going about it, our workmanlike stuff, but that speed and that demonstration of, like, dude, these guys are here to play. That's what our alumni come back and talk to our guys about, like almost 100%.
Gosh,
that
beautiful.
hard on and off the field's like, ooh, it doesn't mean that they're going to back down. It just means that they recognize that, oh, these guys are serious. This is a real, this ain't normal.
Yep.
I want that impression, and it helps.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And
it's hard to coach too.
But it's available to everybody. And that's why I'm like, it's available to everybody. True. It's available to everybody. And I'm like, I don't know why more guys don't do it. To each their own. I'm not judging them. But to me, I'm like, man, I'm on your side. That is beautiful baseball. Coach Derek Sullivan, Sac City, episode 69 of the Baseball Forward podcast. I got one more question for you, Coach. I got to wrap this up. I know you're a busy man. Music. I want to talk about music with you. And I want to know, like, did you have a walkout song when you played? If you didn't, if you could have one right now, what would it be? Talk to me about your walkout music.
Well, I didn't play very much at Sac City. There were some really good players here, the guys that were in front of me specifically. But my first year, it was Nelly, Ride With Me.
Oh, yeah.
And my second year, it was Notorious B.I.G. Oh God, why can't I think of it? My mind's going blank.
Hypnotized.
That's what it was. Hypnotized.
Diggy. It's Bone
and
Diggy.
Yep. Yeah. So it was Hypnotized, and those were my two.
Okay.
We have walkout songs for our guys. They love it. It's awesome. Again, I don't know that you're getting to this point, but when we take pregame, infield, and outfield, we meet, we sprint out onto the field to our positions, hard all the way, and Rocky plays.
Let's go.
And that has played for, again, this is 2025, probably 30 straight years. Every time Sac City takes the field, Rocky plays. And it's everybody knows it. So
man, that's special.
I wanted to make sure that got into this because that's very Sac City too. Like I have no need to change that.
Yes.
I'm not interested because I still get chills when it happens.
Oh,
I'm hitting pregame and I'm the coach running out to right behind the mound with the fungo or my assistants. I don't know. That's nostalgia that it gives me a little bit of chills right now because that's part of the season too. You know what I mean? Like it's the spring. We're playing at Union Stadium under the lights.
Oh man.
Let's go.
Oh man. I love that. Hey, what a blast of a conversation. And seriously, tip of the cap to what you're doing for the game. Because just the lives that you're impacting, by the way, you just described Sac City baseball to me, it's countless. So tip of the cap to you, Coach Derek Sullivan of Sac City. I'm going to give you the final word, Coach, and then I'll say goodbye.
Yeah. Well, again, I appreciate it. I love talking about Sac City baseball or being able to promote it. But again, I've done this long enough that I like to discuss it. This is why I like going to the convention. I love the talks, and I'm not just trying to promote the convention, but I love getting together with my colleagues, younger, older, you name it, whatever level, and going back and forth and just talking about like this awesome opportunity, me selfishly that I have in my job. But again, trying to use it in the right way. It ain't just about wins and losses, but we will define who was the best next year by who won the last game. But we know the longer you do this, what influences that most. And again, being able to talk on things like this, it helps getting our name out and all that good stuff. But it does at the end of the day help the sport when somebody's going to listen and go, oh, that makes sense. And I hope so, right? And there's many ways to do it. But I like to talk about the things that I'm passionate about because I've seen them work, and I hope whenever I'm on a podcast or an interview or whatever that I hope somebody is able to take something from this and go, oh, I think I can go help. I can make our guys better with something, and I appreciate the opportunity, man.
Heck yeah. Coach Derek Sullivan, Sac City, episode 69 of the Baseball Forward podcast. We'll see you guys soon.